Hi, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching. Today's date is the 24th. Actually, it's Saturday afternoon, but this is the trade review for August 23rd, 2013. And let's just get the legal stuff out of the way. This is for educational purposes only. Nothing in my blog, my Twitter stream, or in this video should be considered trading advice. Trading futures is very risky and you can lose your entire investment. So consult an investment professional before deciding to move forward. Okay, so let's get to the fun part. So we've just had a crazy couple of days. Let's just kind of look at that real quick on the bigger picture, and look at what the ES has been doing, because it has just been a monster. And if we look at that, look at the moves, look at some of the swings that we had up and down. This is Friday, this is Thursday, this is Wednesday, and again we had a pretty healthy move even starting on Tuesday in the morning. So, but this move up here, this single candle here, I'll blow it up. Okay, and I spoke to a lot of people who just had discomfort with this range. This is a hourly range, but even if we break it down to 15-minute time frame, I think it'll be even more pronounced, where if we look in here, I mean, look at this sequence in less than 24 hours. Straight up, straight down, base, straight back up, and chase it back all the way to the prior day's high. And then we broke higher from there. Now, personally, when I see something like that, the first thing I'm thinking is, well, how much do I want to trade? Now, it's been a long time since the Fed releases have produced this kind of volatility. And it may be a warning for future Fed releases that people are nervous. They're not exactly sure how they want to read the data. And it gives the, as my friend E-Mini Wizard would say, the powers that be, the quiet hand, an ability to really shake and bake. And there's something really cool about being a small trader, an individual trader, is you don't have to trade, okay? As long as you just want to make money but don't have to make money, you can withdraw from any market that you're not comfortable in and wait until the environment fits your emotional parameters, your mental parameters, and your trading capabilities. That is a totally acceptable solution, and one that you should, quite frankly, seriously consider. Now, as it was, it's thrown me off my game a little bit. While I was very lucky to capture this last 10-point move here, really since this 10-point move, I have really just sucked in my entries. My stops have gotten blown out on the first trade of the day, and it's something that's just not fun to go through. So as I look here, and I go through the ES, and so what I see, let's go into Friday morning. I'm sorry for the awkward moment of silence here. So Friday morning, we opened up right at pre-market resistance, and that was actually just simply moved up. But what we've done that's important here is we've cleared Thursday's high. And so my best guesswork was that we would come in, we would tag Thursday's high, that would make sense, and then we could continue higher. I was wrong. And so that was the philosophy I was working with. We obviously got an attempted rotation higher. We couldn't get the 2 points. And so now we're faced with a dilemma here. Okay, so a lot of my clients were Skyping into me and saying, well, look, I'm going to get out, or I took 5 ticks, or I took 6 ticks, or I took 7 ticks, whatever the case may be. And I said, that's great. I'm just going to stick with the trade. And this is the reason why I do that to start with, and I think it's more important than what the market actually did, because just looking at this chart, you can see we had a day of balance. Nothing happened, okay? So first of all, I did not want to stand in front of a freight train as we were coming to this pre-market resistance. We had blown through it the prior day, and I was a little leery there, so I didn't do anything. I figured the better shot was to wait for a bit of a pullback, and then rotation higher. We started to get it, and then it failed. And so one of my clients asked me, he goes, did your ego get in the way of you just taking the loss and moving forward? Because not only did it happen here, where I took the loss, I did not get filled at pre-market support. I was totally ready to take that trade long. Didn't happen. This was actually the original white zone. It got shifted up when the market shifted up. So obviously I wish I could have put it back there. Again, I just kind of attribute that to not the greatest of days, and I missed an entry by essentially 2 ticks. And then I come up in here and I figure, okay, well, we've broken down here. We're coming up. This is a good place to get a rotation lower. And sure enough, I don't get the rotation lower. If you shorted anywhere from the middle to the back of this zone, you were able to collect your 2 points right here. However, you'll see from the back of the zone, I'm always emphasizing how we need to use a good stop right here in the back of the zone. And usually I'm using a 2-point stop. Again, that's not a recommendation for you. It's just what works for me, and it's what my numbers support. I have an internal way of watching how far the moves go against me via a spreadsheet, and I take an average of that, and I can monitor that for an increase in moves against me or a decrease in moves against me and adjust my stops accordingly. But the gross majority of the time, the 2-point stop behind the back of the zone keeps me profitable, and that's what I care about. So I came in here, I was short. I was waiting all day. I was short right here at this little area, and I waited for what seemed forever. Obviously I shorted on this first move up in here at 940. So he asked me, he goes, did your ego get in the way of your trade? And I said, no, it's actually quite the opposite. What my ego wanted to do, remember, ego is usually fearful. Again, I'm not a psychologist, but and I am married to one, but I don't think that quite qualifies me. However, ego is generally fearful. That is pretty clear if you listen to any of FT71's online articles that he's done or videos that he's done. He talks a lot about the monkey on your back, the ego. It's the thing that makes you do exactly what you don't want to do at exactly the wrong time, and usually it's driven because of fear. Now, in my opinion, taking a short here is difficult because it requires the maximum stop back here, just like taking the long into this just straight red down candle, right? Took some balls, frankly. And a lot of people are scared to do it. They're scared to do it on any day of the week. So the reaction was that I had a lot of clients that took my trade zone here, and they decided to enter trades from the middle to the back. Great. But what they also ended up doing is taking 5 ticks, 4 ticks, 6 ticks, and they were very happy with that. However, something very important happens when you do that, and that is you can no longer trust your initial assessment that a 2-point stop is an appropriate stop. How are you going to ever determine when, let's say for example, and I should have taken the short and I didn't, okay, which is fine. Choosing not to participate is okay. But had I taken the short, right, this would have paid, and it would have paid my 2 points. How am I supposed to determine, do I know enough about the micro structure of the market to know that it's going to give me a 5-tick profit one time, an 8-tick profit the next time, and a 12-tick profit the following time? And the answer is I don't. I have to have a very high win to loss ratio. So the other thing I'm asking myself is, well, what can I afford to lose in a day, right, that I'm structuring my day? What can I afford to lose? Because what gets most traders is one day they'll have huge bang out home runs, next day they'll wipe that out. Or they'll have a series of very small profitable trades. This happens to I'd say over 80% of the speakers I speak to, traders I speak to. They'll have multiple winning small trades, and one trade will wipe it out. And so what you're doing by constantly moving those stops and not letting your stop work is you are saying to yourself, I don't trust you, I don't trust your work, right? You're basically debasing all the work you've done prior, all the spreadsheets, all the data that you've collected to measure that you actually have a true edge. And I'm very hesitant to do that. So yes, I took a 4-point loss here. I then, I was trying to figure out exactly where, I had an NQ trade that was profitable after that. That put me down about 3 points on the day. I don't want to go into the NQ chart. I wasn't able to publish it before the open in any kind of appropriate manner. It was the rawest format that I do, and I won't publish that. So at that point, I was down 3 points on the day. When you look at the last piece here, this trade that I took, well, this trade was right into a chop zone. And one thing that I probably made an error coming into the trade here to begin with, but one thing I didn't want to do is compound that error by making an additional error. And what will cost me more? Will it cost me more to take a stop here, or will it cost me more to go, I don't trust myself, I don't trust my stops, and I don't trust my entries? Okay, and over the long run, even the intermediate term, that'll cost me more. I had a good Monday, I had a good Tuesday, and I had a good Wednesday. Okay, not great, but good. Wednesday, at the end of the day, I had one trade that yielded me 10 points on 3/4 of my trade, and paid me pretty nicely. So being down 4 points right here is no big deal for me. Okay, my next NQ trade worked. I left a trailer, and the trailer ended up getting stopped. No big deal. Instead of making 2 points back, I made 1 point back. I'm still down 3 points on the day. And then I took a trade right here, okay, right in the front here, and it squeezed all against me. Now, here's where the ego comes into play. I did not cover this trade, okay? That was 58.50, and the stop would have been 60.50 right here. Now, if I freaked out right here, and I even wrote, it looks like they're going to come and get my stop. I tweeted that out, okay? And I'm just going to go and let them do that. If you look at the tweet, right, it was right about 10 a.m., somewhere in that range. You'll see I wrote, looks like I'm about to get stopped out. I'm pretty sure I did that. I'll go and verify here in a minute. As a matter of fact, let me pause it. I went and found that actual tweet, and if you look right here at 9:58 a.m., I put in here, if I get stopped here, it'll be my last trade of the day. Some days you're just off, okay? So I did tweet that out, and when I tweeted that out, that's right here. That's when I put this out. Now, what would cause me to tweet something like that? There's only one thing, and that's called fear. And I wanted to go and hit the stop button, okay? And this, hitting the stop button right here, right, would have cost me $150 a contract. Why? Because just a little while later, I said, after approximately 2 hours, I finally said, I give. I can't get it to go in my direction. It's been 2 hours. It's New York lunch. Done. That's it. I'm only down 3 points on the day. It's not a big deal. I believe the prior day I was down 4.5. That's a total 7.5 points. I had one trade at the end of the day on Tuesday that gave me 10 points. I made money Tuesday morning. I had made money Wednesday. Excuse me. I had one trade Wednesday for 10 points. I had a trade Wednesday morning, Tuesday morning, and Monday morning. All of those days were profitable. I'm still having a very good week. Why do I want to push it here? But by the same token, why do I want to compromise myself going forward? I know that my 2-point stop is usually going to keep me in the trade. And sure enough, anyone who hit the eject button here, you know what's going to happen here? You are going to damage yourself because you are going to be kicking the living crap out of yourself inside your head because you could have covered flat or even for a profit. It didn't quite give me my 2 points. I was a little shy and I was waiting for it and didn't get hit. And that sucks. That happens sometimes, right? So I stayed patient. I covered flat. The lesson in all of this is it's not the ego that keeps me in the trade that says I'm right. What keeps me in my trade is my data that tells me this keeps me in the majority of the trades. And I guess that's what I wanted to communicate in this. There's not a lot to say about the trade itself on Friday. When we're at highs of the day, at the end of the day, don't short that. Look, these guys, all this is right here is just a little squeeze right to the back of the zone. That's all it is. Great trade location. If it wasn't the last hour, you could really do well here. But there was nothing else to do. I didn't quite get the long here. I tried, had an order sitting here, didn't get filled. So a couple of things worked to my disadvantage that day. My charting might have been off just slightly, but obviously not a lot. Obviously I nailed the high and I got pretty damn close to the low by 2 ticks. And as long as I'm in that range, I know the majority of the days I'm going to make money. And you know, at the end of the day, this entry here didn't cost me. This one did. And I walked out knowing that I'm going to come in Monday and I'm going to do the exact same thing again. And it's most likely going to have what the result that it has over 80% of the time, which is I'm going to walk out at the end of the day with more money than I walked in with. And it'll take me 1 day, maybe 1 day and a quarter to recover my losses from the last 2 days and getting back to new highs in my trading account. So at any rate, this is Simon. I'm with Trade and Perform Coaching. I really, really believe that anyone can trade profitably. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be special. You don't have to invent some kind of special knowledge, and you don't need a million indicators. If you'd like to learn how to trade like a pro and build your account, contact me. I'm more than happy to help you, and I charge reasonable rates to do it, and I can get most of my clients profitable in a quick manner. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.